meeting for Monday, October 26th. I'm going to get Mr. Head to do the Pledge of Allegiance, if you don't mind, sir.
All right. I pledge allegiance
to the
to
flag
the flag of the United States of America, which stands under the republic, one nation,
under God,
under God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Oh, man, where's
Play
Mr.
ball.
Jeremiah? We need to play ball here. That's all there is to it.
I did it for Jeremiah. Play ball.
Good, thank you, man. Mr. Bruce, do we have any comments, sir, from the citizens?
No, sir. No one signed up for citizens' comments.
That's a good thing, I guess. All right, I'm going to ask for an approval of the September meeting. Do I have a motion, Mr. Pike?
I'll make the motion.
Well, Mr. Pike made the motion. Bubba second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
We
Aye.
got a call.
We got to call roll.
Oh, my goodness, I do, don't I?
I'm going to do the minutes tonight. Who made the motion to approve it, the minutes?
That would have been Mr. Pike.
Okay, and who
And that would
second?
have been Bubba the second.
Okay, and I'll take a roll call. Mr. Head,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Pike,
Yes.
Mr. Hessen,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Golden.
Yes.
I believe that's the 6 members that are present.
All right, I like that. All right.
Other subdivisions. They're just going around checking everyone's door to see.
All right, next on the agenda is the Connect Committee report, Mr. Long and Mr. Gilly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Amy may have more to add to this. We have not met since September. Pretty much, we're not going to have a player development this fall, and we're looking to meet with both presidents to kind of how we're going to move forward as a group. We're looking to meet sometime in November once their seasons are over. But at this point, we're still waiting on 2 new members from the rec side to join the committee from those that stepped down from the board. And we'll just look to both clubs presidents so we can look to move forward with player development in the spring. I don't know if Andy has anything else to add to that.
All right.
I have nothing to add. That's correct. We're going to wait till the rec soccer is hosting the Friendship Cup after their season's over. Once they get through, we're going to sit down with both presidents. And like I said, we're taking on 2 new members from rec to join since they had people step down.
See Mr. Bowler signed in. No, that's no, okay. It's Mr. Franks. Hello, Mr. Franks. Whoa. Did a cartwheel there, my friend. All right, under old business park projects update, Mr. Gilly.
Yes, sir. Real quick, the LPR, the tag reader cameras in Sanders Ferry and at Volunteer Park should be installed hopefully by the end of November, up and running. I don't know if you all are aware or not, but we had good luck using those a couple weeks ago in Memorial Park. They helped us catch some pretty bad guys there. Tomorrow night, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen will vote on the first time of 3 votes for funding for moving inline hockey, and also possibly turf fields and lacrosse lights. That's coming up tomorrow night on the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. They have to do a resolution first, and then they'll come back with an ordinance later on in the year that has to be voted on twice. Also tomorrow night, the Board of Finance Committee and the Public Works Committee will vote on funding for tennis renovations, hopefully to resurface 4 of the tennis courts, and also for the ability for us to apply for a grant for $85,000 to install pickleball courts, which are needed in our city at this point, the growing sport. And we met this week as a staff with maintenance and our office staff to kind of get the first shot at a winter project list. So far, I think it's got about 40 things on it. We're going to try this winter to until we know for sure about what's going to happen budget-wise, to not put any major renovations on there. We're going to try to make sure we take care of the the smaller detailed projects first, but that's still a list of about 40 things. Any of you all have any things as you are in the parks and you see that could use some touching up, please let us know that as early as possible. Because sometimes you all see things that we miss. That's all. I'll have more later under my report.
Yes, sir. Any questions, Mr. Gilly? Thank you, sir. Discussion of staff decision on events extension, Mr. Gilly?
This is something that Mr. Frank reminded us that we probably needed to discuss. I think, Mr. Frank, you have to remind me what you said. I think you suggested maybe we do it through the end of the year.
Yes, I looked at the calendar and it looks like the November and December board meetings. Yeah, I think maybe those are on the agenda too, but I just wanted to see if we should discuss or make even a motion to extend that privilege through December 31st, 2020, to give the board the ability to approve things between meetings, especially if the November and December meetings may be moved or not have a quorum.
And I would follow that up by telling you all that as early as last week, we've still had events come in at the last minute that might have gotten shut down somewhere else in another city and needed to find a home here. So this has been very helpful to us and to the people in the community who needed to do things. I still go by, if you all extend it to the end of the year, if something comes up that's going to happen after that point, I think we'll still bring it to the Parks Board, obviously, like we've been doing. So probably need a motion in a second to vote on.
I have a question on this as we talk about this. If there is, as Mr. Frank said, there's chances that we might not have a quorum or be able to meet at those two meetings. And I really think maybe we ought to push that into the first of the year a little bit, just so we don't, at the end of the year, get hamstrung with not being able to have it extended any further than that and we hadn't met. Maybe even in, the end of January or.
I agree with you, Nathan. I think we should do it till at least the end of January.
Let me do this, then I'll make a motion. Is it, Mr. Chairman, is now an okay time to make a motion?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we give the Parks staff authority to approve events on the behalf of the board through February 28th, 2021, assuming, and I'll go ahead and extend it through then just in case we have an issue that we can't continue to meet.
I'll second that.
I have a motion on the table from Mr. Franks, a second, Mr. White. Any more discussion on this? Okay, we get a voice vote now.
Okay, and Mr. Frank made the motion and Mr. White seconded that to confirm that.
That is correct.
Correct.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Head,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Pike,
Yes.
Mr. Hessen,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Golden,
Yes.
unanimous.
Good enough. And thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Franks. That's I think that'll make things a lot better for us. All right, thank you. Under new business, discussion of November and December meeting dates, Mr. Gilly.
Just kind of going along with what you all said, we have the November meeting is the Monday of Thanksgiving week, supposed to be. I don't know if you all want to try to move that to the 16th, the week before, or even the 30th, the week after, either one. December meeting is the week of Christmas, the 21st. That's kind of up to you all. If you want to do the 21st, leave it there, or move to another date. That kind of up to the board's discretion. I just wanted to bring those two dates to your attention. We're still at a point, especially I think we'll be on Zoom for the rest of the year, according to what I've heard from the governor's office.
Okay.
I still think these meetings are important unless we just have nothing to talk about. But so far we've had something to talk about every time.
So I'd make the motion. We move it up a week from both months, so that make instead of the third Monday instead of the fourth.
Okay.
One note on that December, actually, the meeting is scheduled for the 28th. The fourth Monday would be the 28th.
Oh, that's true. Good point. The Monday right after Christmas. We still might have a lot of people out of town though.
So move it.
You want to make a motion, Mr. Head?
Yeah, I'd make a motion. We move it up a week prior to the holiday, basically the week before Thanksgiving. We're meeting instead of that Thursday of Thanksgiving week, move it up a week. I need to get a calendar and look at the dates.
Got them. It's November 16th and December 14th.
Yep.
I make a motion. We move the meetings up to November 16th and December 14th.
I'll second it.
Who seconded?
Me, Mike, Pike.
Mr. Pike. Mr. Head was the motion. Mr. Pike was second. Any more discussion on the matter? Boys vote.
Mr. Head,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Pike,
Yes.
Mr. Hessen,
Yeah.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Golden,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda, Tennessee Music Parkway markers, Mr. Gill.
You should have in your packet an email from me and also a little brief one-pager about what the Tennessee Music Pathways program is. Started by the governor's office a couple of years ago through the state tourism office. We already have in Hendersonville one music pathway marker. It's at the old House of Cash. It's a Johnny Cash one. That's obviously not in the park, so you all didn't have to approve that. But what happens is people get nominated by different sources, and if the tourism office feels it's a valid nomination, they put these markers up as a historical reference to where these people contributed and where they're from. We have two that have been nominated and approved coming up in our city. One of them is for Taylor Swift to be put at the her folks wanted it put at the Kids Kingdom Playground. Other one is kind of unique. The Isaacs, who's a Southern gospel group that is not originally from Hendersonville, but has lived here for over 30 years. And they requested, even though their hometown was another town in Tennessee, they wanted their marker here in Hendersonville, and requested it over by Mary's Magical Place, which is something that a lot of people would see. I feel like we will have multiple ones of these coming. I know for a fact that more people have been nominated, and it's just kind of up to the tourism office as to when and where they get installed. But I felt like you all needed to approve the placement of these things since they were going to go in the parks.
Mr. Gilly?
Yes, sir.
No, I'll just say, anyone have any questions about it before we start? All right, I'll accept a motion that we approve that.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Head, second.
Yeah.
Voice vote for the city.
Okay, just to make sure, I got White, Mr. White made the motion and Mr. Head second.
That is correct, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Head,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Pike,
Yes.
Mr. Hessen,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Golden,
Yes.
unanimous.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Next, a little free library at Mary's Magical Place. Ms. Gilly. Ms. Gilly, are you on?
Hey, okay. First, I want to say hi to Andy because I haven't seen him in about 3 weeks. Hi, Andy.
Hey, Mom. How's it going?
I am Nancy Gilly, and I'm the regent of the General Jethro Sumner chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And this year, we would like permission to install a little free library at Mary's Magical Place. And a little free, I don't know if you're familiar with what a little free library is. I believe maybe one is installed at the Magical Kingdom. So you may have heard of this before, but it is a container in which we will put children's books, probably birth to age 10 books for children. And the children are free to take a book. We hope they will leave a book. I have 2 ladies who have volunteered to be stewards of the little library. So they will be coming by on a regular basis, replenishing the books and checking to make sure everything is okay and nobody's damaged it or put anything in there that shouldn't be in there. So that's our request, is permission to do this.
Okay. One of my questions would be, and you've already said this, but I'm an old guy, I don't listen very well, but is it going to be put where vandalism would be kind of short order? In other words, be kind of out of the way?
I think that's a very good point. We actually have not selected an exact location. We'll probably do that in coordination with Andy and maybe the Mary's Magical Place board to see where they think the best place would be.
Yeah, I'd like very much to be very visible so that that we could take care of it, because that's such a worthy thing. I want it to succeed. So
I think we can install it in a place where it's visible and also where it's captured by the security cameras that are over there also.
Very nice. Okay, good. Any questions of Ms. Gilly?
Yeah, Ms. Gilly, given obviously the individuals that use Mary's Magic Kingdom, I assume the idea is also to include books in there that, are inclusive. I don't know, books in Braille and other things.
Well, we're sort of dependent on donations for the books. We can request that, and I think that certainly would be a good thing. I don't know if the State Library and Archives is where the Tennessee State department that is in charge of technology and Braille books. If you wanted to order a Braille book for somebody, that's where you would go to get it. And I do know that they have transitioned to a different kind of equipment where the Braille books they use now are not like we're thinking about. They have a new technology where they have these machines that a line of type pops up and the reader puts their hands on it and reads that line. That line goes down and the next line comes up and they read it. So the old Braille books that they have had in the past that we think of that are like on thick paper that have little bumps on them, they are shipping those to someplace in the Northeast and also, I believe, to the Philippines, where they don't have that new technology. So I can certainly ask if they would be willing to donate some for us. I go down and volunteer to help box up those books to ship them out. So that might be a source of Braille books. That's something we need to talk about, is the types of books for assisted to assist people with all sorts of ability levels.
Okay. Again, you'll forgive me because you've already mentioned this, but how are you going to advertise this?
Well, we will probably put it on our Facebook page. We have a chapter Facebook page. We're open to suggestions as to how to advertise it. I'm sure we can ask all of our members. We have 164 members from all over Sumner County, actually, and out of state as well. And, each person can help advertise that. I think, however, from what I can see, every time I go by Mary's Magical Place, every day of the year, it's packed.
I see.
So as long as the little library is in a very visible location, I don't think advertising would be a problem as far as people knowing it's there.
Yeah.
I might need to advertise to get people to donate books.
Well, the only reason I brought that up is that I know a lot of seniors, that don't frequent there, but that would be glad to donate, I'm sure. So, and they would, I mean,
Right.
if they went by the place, they wouldn't know anything about it. So I think all the advertisement you can be great. So,
Right. As I said, I'm open to suggestions, however you think. We would love to put a notice on the Parks Board newsletter. That might be one way to advertise.
well, you as mom, I believe you'll get that done.
Well, that's what I was fixing to ask Andy, if that's something we could do, maybe not just once, but numerous times
Mhm.
as we get this passed. I'm kind of assuming, getting ahead of myself, but maybe we could make that maybe the first 2 or 3 months it's there, part of the newsletter.
Sure, we'll do that. Well, with the last one that was built at the Kids Kingdom, we had a ribbon cutting and article in the newspaper also.
Yeah.
And we will plan to do that. We'll make a big event out of it to
Good.
publish.
Good. I certainly want to see it. I want to see it work. I really do. I know it's a little off subject. I was down on Indian Lake Road the other day, and there's this nice lady that has a little box out front that has books, and I'm always kind of curious as to how people treat those things and whatnot. But every time I go by there, it's always got books in it. So I'm sure that people will be nice about it. All right, I'll accept a motion to approve this.
I'll make a motion. that we-
Second.
Mr. Perry, second. You get that, Mr. Bruce?
Mr. Perry, a second. Who made the initial motion?
Mr. Pike.
Mr. Pike. Okay.
May I add one thing? Do plan to register this library with the Little Free Library National Association. And by doing that, it will be on an electronic map that is available all over the world. And it will tell where it's located in Hendersonville at Mary's Magical or Veterans Park, probably. And I think it will also say that we are the sponsors of that. So.
Good. All right, discussion. All right, voice vote.
Mr. Head,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Frank,
Absolutely.
Mr. Pike,
Yes.
Mr. Heston,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Golden,
Yes.
unanimous.
Nice.
Hey, Miss Gilly.
Thank you, Miss Gilly.
Miss
Thank you,
Gilly.
sir. Yes.
This is Mr. Frank. When you start looking into researching titles and so forth, if you'll let me know, because we've got some resources and some power at the school level to get those kind of books and get the characters in the books, the titles of the books, the subject matter, make that good, inclusive, equity, all of those kind of things. There are some great children's books out there with heroes that have disabilities, and we'll help you get those if you want them. We're not forcing them on you, but if you want them, let me know.
Yes, I want them. I'll be in touch with you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess you heard that, didn't you? Nobody happy, I'm telling you.
I've got your phone number.
Thank you, Miss Gilly.
Thank you. Good
All right.
night.
Next, mile marker sign discussion, Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are looking to install some trail markers in the park at Drake's Creek for our runners and walkers. We're looking at doing 3 trails, starting at the white line, which is right there behind Field 6. And we've worked with Mr. Sanchez on picking out a few different trail to different loops around the soccer complex and going out to Veterans Park. And this is just the first phase of this plan. We hope to add this at Memorial Park and Sanders Ferry and Beatty Farm eventually. But in addition to that, we've applied for a grant that we'll find out in December that would also help to pay for the trail marker. But what Mr. Sanchez is here to do tonight is to ask the board's permission to include the Hillsborough Running Club's logo on the first trail marker there at the white line behind Field 6. That the posts are the recycled lumber post, 4x4 posts, and every post will include the park's logo and the different trails. But the first post would include the Hendersonville Running Club's logo, and they are willing to pay for that single post. So if Mr. Sanchez has anything additional to add to that, that's what he's here to do.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I have gone to Image 360 to look for options on how to create the Hendersonville Running Club logo so we could put it on the mile marker 0, which would be right there at the white line. And for those who may not be aware, the white line is officially the beginning of where runners in the community meet on Saturdays on different runs. That has been for years been traditionally our meeting spot. We have anywhere from 5, 6, 10. We've had up to 30 runners meet there on Saturdays. So that has traditionally been our meeting spot. So when they asked me about the mile markers, I was really enthused to see this because it would help all the new runners with their distances and direction, because our park trails are you have different options, right? At first, I wanted to figure out how to help. So I offered on behalf of the running community that if you guys would allow us to put a marker, and this is, I don't know if y'all can see it, but this is a sample of what Image 30 gave me. And the dimension, it's a material that they say that y'all have used in the past in different places. I'm not sure where, but depending on the size of the post, we would do the size of the logo. And it would be screwed to the post, and it would officially mark mile 0. And it would be the post sponsored by Hendersonville Running Club. And as I told Andy and you guys when we met, we would offer and we would be willing to pay for that one post if the grant doesn't come through. If the grant comes through, we'll pay for this.
Mr. Long, for both people that watch these meetings on TV, tell us how many miles of walking trail that we do have here in Hendersonville.
We have quite a bit. Now, some of it's confusing because a lot of the greenway is not actually on park property. All the greenway that once you leave Drakes Creek Park and once you go towards the library, that's actually not part of the park's trails, but it is part of the city's greenway. Basically, from the white line that he's talking about all the way to the ending location at Veterans Park, that's about 1.8 miles.
Nice.
But we also have another trail picked out inside Drakes Creek that would be a little over 1.5 miles, and we have another one that's a little shorter that cuts through the middle of Soccer, and that'd be about 1.3 miles. So that's just right there between Drakes Creek and Veterans Park. And then we haven't even got into looking at what we have at Memorial Park. But after we complete this phase, that's our next step, is hopefully adding trail posts going from Drakes Creek through Memorial Park.
Good enough. All right. I just wanted people to know, or both those people to know that again. All righty. Any more questions before we get it rolling here? I'll entertain a motion.
On a motion.
Mr. Perry is the first. Second is?
I'll second it.
Who was that?
Mike.
Mr. Mike, second. Discussion. All right, boys. Well, I can't say that. Vote.
All right, Mr. Head,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Pike,
Yes.
Mr. Hessen,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Golden,
Yes.
unanimous.
Before we move on, I also wanted to add, we're working with the police department on this as well, and they're going to add GPS coordinates to all these posts, and that will help the emergency if anyone needs emergency on the trail, the police and the fire departments will know exactly where they're located. So that's well.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Before we go any farther, I want everybody to understand that my hair is not sticking straight up. It's the glow of the light off of where I don't have hair. So I know I look a little bit like a Cherokee Indian, I guess, but it's not meant to do that. So, all right. Special events list. I think you all have that. Any questions on that? Very nice. All right. Under staff reports, Ms. Hamlin.
All right, thank you. We had our preschool track meet on Sunday, October 18th. The weather didn't quite cooperate, but we were able to push through and get it in. Had all but 5 show up and participate. We had 23 3-year-olds, 38 4-year-olds, and 36 5-year-olds. And as I walked through and spoke with parents, they said they were pleased with the changes that we had made and requested that it stays the same format for next year. I have gotten a few emails with pictures and surveys, and most were pleased with the smaller numbers of people participating at one time. I couldn't have pulled it off without the help of Jeannie and Kristen from the office, as well as a few summer program workers, and PA Bowler came in and volunteered. I had several middle school and high school volunteers. The schools that were represented were Beach High, Merrill Hyde, Gallatin High, Hawkins Middle, and I hope I didn't leave anybody out. But it's just really fun to watch all these little ones run the 25-yard dash, the hurdles, and throw the tennis ball. They get really excited. The parents get excited as they finish the events and get their ribbons. Want to do a big thanks to Morris Orthodontics for sponsoring this event. The only thing that I heard throughout the time was that because they were being held off the field, they couldn't hear the announcements prior to the entrance to the field. So we'll work on that for next year. We've done some discussion about the event with Santa. We are changing our lunch with Santa to breakfast with Santa. It will be Saturday, December 12th at Whitten Elementary. So people can come and have a visit with Santa with some social distancing along with the Grinch. I hope to have a couple of other characters there as well. Pictures will be offered, and we're going to have 3 different sessions with a limit of 40 children and 2 adults per child in each session. The sessions will be 8:30 to 9:15, 9:30 to 10:15, and 10:30 to 11:15. Registration will begin Monday, November 9th and go through Wednesday, December 9th until all spots have filled in all sessions. All the adults will be asked to wear a mask when in the building to meet the COVID regulations mandated by the Sumner County School System. We will do social distancing within the areas. This event is free to all who registered, thanks to the Civitan Club. The Hendersonville Civitan Club sponsors this event. They must be pre-registered to attend. We will not take any walk-ins. We are looking at offering like a chicken biscuit and a drink for breakfast, going through Wendy's to do this. They'll get a goodie bag and of course get to have their visit with good old St. Nick and the Grinch. Then we'll do special friends visit with Santa. That will be for our special friends on Thursday, December 10th at City Hall for the special needs community. There is no age limit for this, for them to come visit. There's no registration required. They just need to show up. It will start at 5:30 and run till about 6:45. Masks again will be required for this event. Pictures will be available. We'll do some social distancing as well. As far as Raptors basketball, we are trying to make a decision in regards to this league. I have sent an email to all the previous participants to see who would like to participate this year. So depending on the number of responses that we get, we'll have to make a decision which way we want to go. But if we don't hold the actual Raptors basketball league, we're going to offer what we call a game day fun day, so they can come in and we can have different games set up. They can still get the socialization with their friends and peers that they miss. And we could have like bingo going in the cafeteria and other games within the gym that we can social distance them out. Of course, more information will be coming on that. I haven't had a lot of replies yet. The replies I have had say they miss it. They'd like to see it happen. But if you only have 5 or 6 that's going to sign up to play basketball, you can't really pull off a basketball league. So we'll just have to wait, a couple more weeks and see where we go from there. Anybody have any questions?
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hamlin.
Thank you.
Recreation Coordinator, Mr. Evans.
Hey, everyone. Couple quick things. We're going to finish up kickball this Friday. We were going to have a tournament last Friday, but it rained out. All things considered, we'll finish out kickball this Friday. As far as basketball goes, for our high school and adult leagues, we have 19 teams in our high school league, and we have right now 6 men's, but I got 2 coming in tomorrow. So we're actually going to have 8 in our men's league. We have a coaches meeting tomorrow night. We'll start practice on Saturday for our high school teams, and we'll start games November 11th with our adult league. So the only other thing that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, probably we'll announce it in early December, will be if we have winter indoor volleyball and dodgeball, but that'll all be available on the website and here in the office.
Okay. Questions? Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Thank you.
Special Events Program Supervisor, Ms. Wise.
Hi, everybody. I can't believe it's actually the end of October. It was a busy month for me. Cross country, their season will end this month. Beach has its last one tomorrow, and then Metro has its regional meet on Thursday. Football for the Cure was rescheduled for November 8th. Spencer Bristol tournament was this month. They had a great turnout and everyone seemed to enjoy it. USTA tennis, they had a tournament. They had around 60 players from all over the state come. Greenbrier fishing tournament. All the funds that were raised from this event went towards its high school softball program. Despite the hurricane, I don't know what hurricane it was, they still had a pretty good turnout. The state bass team tournament was 2 weeks ago. They had about 50 boats participate from around the state. We also had the rugby ribbon cutting this month, and they were able to play some games on their new fields. Net Elite and USSSA had some tournament and games going on. HPD had its K9 certification program last week in the park. I believe they rotate every 4 years, and this was their year for it. ABA had its big American Fishing Trail tournament last week with about 217 boats at Sanders Ferry Park. And then we had the kids movie in the park Saturday night. Despite the rain, we had some families actually stick it out for the entire time. And if you've never seen Hotel Transylvania, it's a cute movie, first time for me. Coming up, we've got our trick-or-treat event Thursday night. Hopefully the weather will cooperate for us, but right now we have about 30 booths participating. We also have our City Hall pumpkin carving contest. The winner will be announced Friday morning. So if you can, come out on Thursday to City Hall and check out all the pumpkins. Sumner Fest has been rescheduled for this Friday night, and they will be doing a drive-in movie event. Hay rides and hiking the hills will be November 7th at the Beatty Farm. Let's see, Veterans Parade is coming up on November 8th. TSSAA cross country meet is next Thursday and Friday at Sanders Ferry Park. Grace Place Ministry, they're having its first kickball tournament next Friday. USSSA and PGF will be returning for its last tournaments of the year. Parking Pallet will be Saturday, November 14th. Right now we have a total of 16 spots sold, but we're looking for more. Let's see, Cleveland Grimes Friendship Cup for soccer and a rugby championship will be going on in November. And then USTA tennis will be coming back again for another tournament in November. And then finally, we've got the annual tree lighting on Sunday, November 29th with some fireworks going on. And that will kick off our Festival of Lights Christmas event for the month of December. So there's a lot going on right now in the park. Any questions?
Did you even take a breath when you said that?
No, that's just been October for me. It's one thing after the other.
You have been busy.
I have, but it's been fun.
Indeed. Any questions, Ms. Wise?
Is there a backup plan if Thursday night is a wash?
We're going to talk about it on Wednesday. Hopefully have a plan by then.
Okay.
I was gonna say, Mr. Evans, I'm expecting big things from your pumpkin carving.
No curse words.
Yeah, no pressure. My great
No
artistic
pressure.
skills.
I want something special, man.
All right, fair enough.
Thank you, Ms. Wise.
Uh-huh.
Assistant Maintenance Supervisor, Mr. Barn. Oh, no, excuse me, Grenade.
Hey, Mr. Barnes here. Ken, I'll work on getting that total mileage on the trails for you. I used to have it, but I don't remember. So I'll get that for you and let you know. Ryegrass seed is down in all parks. That's kind of been an ongoing thing. We did some of that in-house. Some of it was done by outside company, but that is all done as of last week. We've got some new ADA compliant building signs going up. It was a project that Andy had tasked me with, and we've been working on, and they actually came in and turned out really nice. And talking about Braille, those signs all have Braille on them. So all of our buildings will have that. So as you're in the parks over the next couple of weeks, you can look for them. Shelter 8 at Saunders Ferry is getting an LED light upgrade. That's a project we're working on in-house. The guys started on it late last week, and they're still working on that. It'll be done this week. Over the next couple of days, we'll be doing some final touches at the new 9/11 Memorial. We've got that dedication on Wednesday afternoon. So we got a few things we're doing over there, get all that stuff put together for Wednesday. I would tell everybody, if you have the opportunity, you should come to that at 3:30. Like Andy mentioned, we had a meeting last week, got our winter list put together. So we'll be starting on winter list projects. As you can tell from listening to Andrea, we still have a lot going on in the parks over the next 30 days. So as we can, we will start to work on winter list, but typically we don't get too involved in that stuff until normally after Christmas, honestly. We've got a water main leak over at Veterans Park. We'll be putting 240 feet of water line in later this week. We went and got those supplies today and hope to be starting on that later this week if the rain doesn't curb that for us. Had a situation where Civitan stepped up last week. I'll thank Jimmy for that. We had 2 hood vent motors go down in concession stands at Drakes Creek. We think that had to do with a power issue from NES, and it ended up burning some motors up. And Jimmy jumped on top of that and got some people lined up, and they rolled with it. And I just wanted to make sure I said thank you for that, and that we appreciated that help. I think that's pretty much everything I have. I'm here for any questions if anybody has any. Thank you all for being here this evening.
Hey, Jeremy, this is Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
The hood and baseball is fixed, taken care of, works great this weekend, and they have got a couple of parts that they had to order for the one in softball. Weather permitting, it'll be fixed by the end of the week. If not, it'll be the first of next week. So just give you a heads up on that.
That's awesome. Thanks again. We appreciated the help with it.
No problem. Glad to assist.
Any other questions? Jeremy, when should I put pre-emergence down on my lawn?
I would wait until, I do mine at home, and the guys at the park, typically they don't do that until like February.
February. Okay, good enough. Just thought I'd ask that. All right, any more questions? Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Assistant Director, Mr. Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Soccer's winding down. We're going in the last couple of weeks of rec soccer. We're going to finish up the regular season this Saturday, and then starting Sunday through next Saturday will be the end of season tournament for them. Tennessee United still has about 3-4 weeks left of their season and practices and games in the park. We are hosting the Friendship Cup on November 14th and 15th. That is the state's rec tournament from all over the state. We're expecting 75 to 85 teams for that, hopefully. So we're excited to bring that on board. Football, they had their last regular season game this past weekend, and we're just waiting to see what we'll be able to host as far as their playoffs moving forward here. Rugby had a great ribbon cutting and an event a couple of weeks ago, and then our first little tournament of games out there the following day. Big turnout, and it's really glad to see that added to our park system, and kind of separates us from everywhere else in the state, as these are the only 2 full-size rugby fields in the state of Tennessee. So I'm excited to bring some of their rugby on board. They will be hosting the state championship tournament November 14th as well. So we'll have two big state tournaments that weekend with soccer, rec soccer, and rugby. Lacrosse is ongoing with their off-season training. They got about 3 weeks left of that. And then last thing, we're just gearing up for basketball season. Been working with all the schools on schedules. We have several meetings this week, and then practices begin this Saturday and next Monday for the younger kids. So that's all I got.
Questions of Mr. Long? Thank you, Mr. Long. Assistant Director, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the local stuff, the Fast Pitch League finished up their tournament this past week before the weather got bad. Hockey is still going on. Their tournament is tentatively set for this Saturday to finish up before it turns cold. The Civitan practices, the open team practices are still going on. I think he's going to try to wrap that up the first of next week. The senior men finished up their tournaments last week. The 45-year-old division finished up last Thursday. So the 45s, 55s, and 65s have all finished up and sent those pictures to the paper. Basketball, still working with Chris at Civitan. Grades 1 through 9, they've got 115 teams. So there's not been much, if anything, they're up just a few teams from last year. So the COVID really hasn't affected the grades 1 through 9. So we're up 5 teams from last year.
Good. Okay.
They had the rating sessions last week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We did a little different. Did it on a Sunday afternoon, which was able to use the gym longer. So that worked out well. We've got all the practice schedules done for them with blocking all those spots. And then now I'm going to start working on game schedules. Their games tentatively going to start December 5th, mainly just grades 1 through 9, play on Saturdays, December, January, and February. The Bristol tournament, just a note on that, that was really well received by the community. Matt Lee did a great job getting all of that together. Opening ceremonies on that part of it was fantastic. I think the family really appreciated that. Plans are for that to be a yearly event. And one of the highlights of the day was I got to umpire with Mr. White all morning. So he did a fantastic job umpiring, by the way. So
I'm certain your back was sore from carrying me all day.
We had a good time.
I think both of you did a good job. That's fine. Any more questions?
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Parks Director, Mr. Gilly.
Yes, sir. Just to reemphasize, we do have the citywide trick or treat this Thursday. We're as Dallas said, be working on some contingency plans the next couple of days. Also want to make sure everyone is invited. Wednesday, as Jeremy said earlier, Wednesday, 3:30 at Memorial Park, dedicating the first responder monument and memorial. It is a beautiful project. If you get a chance, especially if you get a chance to drive by there at night and take a look at it, it's pretty first class. But Wednesday, we will be doing that, rain or shine Wednesday. Have other events coming up as well. I think Andrea mentioned the parking pallets, where people can pay money to paint a parking spot at Mary's Magical Place. That's coming up November 14th. November 7th, we're partnering with Christmas for Kids and Live Love Nashville and Holiday Fest to do a barbecue dinner and a show at the parking lot of Ultimate Party. It's going to be a great night to raise some money for Christmas for Kids, who kind of had all their events canceled for the year. We're trying to make sure we get enough to help 400 kids have a Christmas in the community. So if you want a good, safe, socially distant dinner night out, you can head over to Christmas for Kids and website and buy, or Holiday Fest website, and buy tickets to that event. A couple things being voted on tomorrow night that wasn't under projects. We have some legislation in the committees tomorrow night to add 2 new maintenance employees starting in February. I'm hopeful that we can get this voted in. You may or may not know, we've kind of, for the year, we've lost the inmate program due to the COVID situation. So when you look at that, losing 4 to 5 inmates a week, It's about 170 man hours a week that we've lost. I'm not sure what we'll do in the spring if we don't take care of our 2 crew supervisors. They've been doing more manual labor than supervising, but losing 4 doesn't equal 2. So we're going to have to hopefully get that straightened out. Also, you'll kind of see we're doing some trading, some purchasing of some new assets, golf carts, trucks, and different things coming up over the next few years. Be on the lookout for that. Last thing for me is that I know we all talk about it all the time, and we say that we talk about it all the time. The office staff, the maintenance staff has been incredible during this whole situation. And everything that you heard Andrea list, everything that we have going on. And then Keith and Dallas and Wade and Miss Hamlin, all their reports. Everything they've been able to accomplish and pull off is a minor miracle at this point. Things change every day. At maintenance, things change every day. We've dealt with, just in the last week, water leaks and electrical issues, lights back at soccer nearly every day. And it kind of throws off the day's work. But everybody's handled it with great success, and I appreciate all that they do. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions? You enjoying the beach, Mr. Gilly?
Trying to.
I can't go to the beach because kids keep trying to roll me back in the ocean. So I don't ever go to the beach. Motion to adjourn.
Got a round table first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Round table, who's first? You do a roll call on that. So I don't know who's here.
Okay. Mr. Head,
Nope, don't have anything.
Mr. White,
Good.
Mr. Frank,
All is good.
Mr. Pike,
Fantastic.
Mr. Hessen,
I'm good. Thank you.
Mr. Perry,
There's nothing here, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Golden.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Not
Okay.
much to say. Not much to say. Now I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Wright, first motion. Who seconds?
Mr. Head.
Who was that? Mr.
Jimmy.
Head. I got a motion and a second from Mr. Head. Voice vote.
All right. Mr. Head,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Pike,
Yes.
Mr. Hessen,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Golden.
Yes.
That would be unanimous.
That would be good. We're out of here.
Y'all have a good one, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Everybody be safe.
You too.
Wait, I appreciate it, buddy.
Yes, sir. We'll see you later.
I'll see you next time, I reckon.
Yes, sir.
Have a
Be
good
safe.
night.
Be safe getting home.